Coming up on the official Celtic FC Podcast, Alistair Johnston and Liam Scales reflect on winning the Scottish Premiership title.
It's the feeling that you're aiming for. It's exactly what you come to this club for, again, is to lift titles.
And the Celtic defenders answer all of your questions.
Salt and chilli chicken, veg and chips in a chippy bag sort of, and they shake it all up and it's just like, it's unbelievable.
This is the official Celtic FC Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the official Celtic FC Podcast. It's the official podcast of the champions of Scotland, and I'm absolutely delighted to say that I'm joined today by two of those champions. We've got Alistair Johnston and we've of course got Liam Scales here with us on today's episode. Listen guys, it's wonderful to have you here. Really appreciate you coming in after what I'm sure has been an unbelievable week. Alistair, I'll start with yourself. How good was last week? You know, winning the title and then lifting the trophy out there at the weekend. Just if you can, try and sum up what that feels like.
Yeah, no, it was special. Again, whenever you get a chance to lift the title, and obviously being here last year and doing it, to do it back-to-back years is special. And also, of course, how it was different. Every year is unique in its own way, and this one kind of came down a bit more to the wire. And, you know, it was a really big final week of the season. And, you know, we had a massive game at home where a crowd turned up and were unbelievable and willed us to a really important win, and then to go and do it away and clinch it at Kilmarnock meant that it was going to be a party here on the last match of the season against St Mirren. So overall, a really enjoyable week, but another big week coming up where we can make it, double enjoyable, I guess you could say. Yeah,
well, we're going to talk a wee bit about just the whole sort of clinching the title, comeback here, the big sort of party. But coming to yourself, Liam, it's been an incredible couple of weeks, for yourself with the contract extension being signed and so on, and then of course you go on and lift the league title at the start of this season. You've played such a huge part in the success of the season so far. But if you were to sort of look back to the beginning of the season, is this how you sort of envisaged that it would pan out?
No, not at all. Do you know, I was like 1 foot out the door sort of at the start of the season because of the options we had in my position, and I was looking for regular football, and I suppose thinking maybe I'd have to go somewhere else to get that. And then obviously just got an opportunity through a couple of injuries, and I took that. And no, I don't think I would have seen myself at this here. Like, I would have loved to have been able to say, yeah, I see myself here, but I don't think that was on the radar at all. But it's the best possible outcome I could have had. So, look, it's been a great year and I've enjoyed it so much.
I mean, you've sort of, I guess, it's stepped up to the mark. You've stepped up at a point when it really counted. And for yourself, Alistair, you're playing in the defence. Mm-hmm. What's this guy been like to play with throughout the course of the season?
Again, he's been unbelievable, and I think that it's a testament to him that he really was a true professional, because I know how difficult it was, especially at the end of the summer there, when it kind of did feel like maybe he was going to be on the periphery, looking on the outside, looking in, and then he was given an opportunity, and he was unbelievable, where he took that opportunity with both hands and ran with it, and he didn't really open that door up again to any of the big name signings that we made at that position. So it's a real testament to him, how he's played as a player. I think he's been unbelievable. You can see again with the accolades that he's gotten. I think you were best 11 Scotland. Obviously, we just saw he's got a FIFA Team of the Season card that looks unbelievable as well. I don't even play FIFA, but I might fire it up just to use that card. So no, he's been great. And again, he's someone that plays for the badge, lives and breathes this football club, and you can tell how much every single minute out there means to him. So it's been a real joy, especially being another defender playing alongside him, seeing his growth and seeing his confidence grow throughout the year. He's turned into a really important centre half for us, and he's played a pivotal part for us in lifting this title this year.
I mean, that is massive praise, to be honest, as well, Liam. And that must be because, of course, Alistair's such a good speaker as well. So hear him saying things like that. But to receive that praise, Liam, and we're talking about the FIFA card we've just seen you with a second ago there, which does look absolutely spectacular. It's got to be said, and good numbers on it as well. It must just be what a thrill, what a buzz. You must be on cloud 9 overall.
Yeah, 100%. Like, he does speak well, the boy, to be fair. I was going to say that myself, but
he can host this podcast.
I know, yeah.
A job lined up after, don't worry. Yeah, taking over.
Yeah, no, it is. It's unbelievable. It's sort of surreal. Like, I sort of used to play FIFA a lot when I was a kid, and like to end up with a team in the season on it. It's just mad, to be honest. So yeah, I'm gonna go home and batter it tonight. You know.
See that because the team, the sort of player card that you've got there is massive. See with a thing like that, do you stick it up on the wall, or does it just sort of go and live in a cupboard for the rest of its days?
It'll probably be in the cupboard for a while, but when I sort of get the forever home, I might go up in the trophy room, you know, because it is a cool one to have. But no, I'll enjoy it. You know, it's great. But obviously, we're still have one big game left, and to top it off with the cup final would just be brilliant.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I've really enjoyed this year. I'm just buzzing to be here, and like, long may it last, I suppose. I want to come back next year even stronger and better and fitter, and just sort of continue to play regularly here, because it's the best place to be. You know, when things are going your way and you're playing and you're winning, it's unbelievable.
Brilliant, and it's thoroughly deserved as well. You're touching on the fact that, of course, you've got the cup final coming up, which is the perfect way to end the season. You want to be there. You want to be in those big occasions as a player, I'm sure. We're going to touch on that a wee bit as we sort of progress here. But I wanted to ask you, Ali, that, you know, there's so much work that goes into winning a league title. And as a supporter, it's an intense experience this season, especially.
Yep. The
intensity, the pressure, it was through the roof. So it's hard for me to sit here and imagine what it must be like for you guys who are the guys who are tasked with delivering the performances, getting the results, and ultimately returning the silverware. But I just wonder, overall, you know, as you're turning up to training every day and as you're getting closer to the finish line, does the atmosphere change in training sessions? Do you feel the pressure and intensity increasing?
No, and I think that's the best part about playing for a club like this, is that it's in our DNA, winning titles, so that when it does get difficult, nothing really changes, because we're still training at that level. Like, we're competing for a title, or a cup final is the coming game from week one. It doesn't matter, you know, what part of the season we're at. And again, when you have leadership, and I've touched on this many times, when you have leadership that has won titles, you look at the resumes of James Forrest, Cal McGregor, Joe Hart, the gaffer. You can tell why they were never worried. You know, the heart rate never goes up. There's no sweaty palms. There's no people acting out of character. It's still a really steady ship the entire time, no matter what's going on, and understanding that, yeah, it's not going to be perfectly straight. It's going to be bumpy. But at the same time, don't get too worked up about it, and just keep putting your next foot forward. And we did a really good job of that this year. So I think for, you know, myself, who's now, I'm not an experienced player, but I'm not an inexperienced player. I'm kind of in that middle ground. It's really nice when, you know, you do kind of get those feelings sometimes, like, oof, we're in a title race here. Like, what should I be feeling? But then you go and you look at Cal and Jamesy, and they're as cool as ever. And you realize, you know what, we just got to follow what they're doing, and we'll be in good stead. And again, I'm guessing that then the younger players are then looking at guys like myself, and you know, it kind of just flows through in that way. So at the same time, I think that's the biggest thing, is just having that mentality, that winner's mentality, that again, it's in the DNA of this football club. So you never really feel like you're out of it, no matter what the situation is. And that has really come true. And you can see in these past couple of months, when we got to the business end of the season, you know, when, you know, title teams really need to kick into gear, we've done exactly that. So I'm really happy with that. And yeah, I think that comes from the top down.
Yeah, I mean, well, as you're sort of alluding to there, that whole idea of, and the managers obviously said it, that this is the time of the season that Celtic come alive. And I mean, it sounds so reassuring, you know, that you've got those players who have been through it over the course and distance so many times, and have achieved what the ultimate goal is, which is to win silverware for Celtic. But I'm just wondering as well, you know, you mentioned about Liam earlier, that Liam, you're someone who lives and breathes Celtic. You're really playing for the badge. Do you feel like the sort of Irish connection, given the history of the football club, does that help further that? Is that something that's just comes natural to you, that you don't have to really work at to understand what it means to pull on that jersey?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of my character. You know, I think regardless of what club I'd play for, you know, that'd be the way I'd play. But here it's even more special because of that Irish connection, and you do feel it. Like, I feel at home. You know, I don't feel like I'm away at all. Like, when I moved over here, it didn't take me long to settle in at all. Everyone was so welcoming. Everyone seems to have Irish family in Glasgow as well. Everyone's uncle, cousins, everything. It's brilliant, and I was just like felt so welcome, and I settled in so well. But no, I don't need any more motivation to play for this club. It's massive, and obviously you have friends and family at home who are big Celtic fans, and just to be representing the Irish here is brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds like something that obviously means quite a lot to you. We should also mention as well for anybody who's watching, and if you're listening, you may be able to hear it. There's actually a sort of charity game going on in the pitch behind us. So
Someone just scored a great goal.
Somebody just scored an absolute beauty. We'll have to have a look back in the footage.
Joe Hart playing in the middle. I see a guy with keeper shorts and.
It never stops,
socks,
you know. He just can't get enough of it.
Well, he's soaked in the last week, isn't he?
Liam's obviously touching there, you know, on the fact that it's something that's obviously ingrained in him. But Alistair, for yourself, it's a little bit different because, of course, you've come from a totally different continent to come over here and play for Celtic. And I know it's interesting what you're saying because it almost feels like you've been here for a really long time. But when you look at it, it's not really been that long at all. In that time, you've had success, though. But I think the big thing is, then people would say that you are someone who just connects with the supporters. You know, you hear people saying, "Oh, he gets it. He just gets it." How has that come about? Because it certainly feels like there's a sort of bond between you and these supporters.
Well, I think it kind of comes down to just my personality a little bit. Being Canadian, I think we're pretty outgoing and open and open to having conversations with people. So I might be, you know, I don't know in terms of the fans how they feel, but I feel like I'm pretty open with all of them and can connect to them. We're pretty blue collared people as well over in Canada, and I think just kind of with how I, you know, played the game and my journey through the game to get here, it was pretty, you know, it wasn't as straightforward. I wasn't, you know, that top player growing up that was always destined for greatness. I kind of had a funny path, similar to you in a way, you know, doing the university route. So to me, it's just being able to play professionally and play, you know, to now have heard the Champions League anthem, to have represented my country at a World Cup. Like, I'm only 25 still, and it feels like I've ticked off a lot of the bucket list. So for that, I'm just really soaking it in, enjoying every moment of it. So I guess that the supporters can really connect with me in that aspect, is that I'm really just out there enjoying it. And also, I think it doesn't hurt that, you know, I love a tackle and I love to get into it and love the fight of it. That's something that will always be with me. But again, no, the fans have been great. And just to touch on what you said, I mean, yeah, he's probably saying that there's Irish, you know, everyone here seems to have an Irish cousin or something. I mean, I can only imagine, because every fan that seems to come to me like, oh, I've got a cousin that lives in Canada. So I can only imagine Ireland must be just another level altogether. But yeah, no, the fans are great in that aspect. Like, you can tell they live and breathe this football club, and that's the kind of club that you want to be playing for, where everything matters, you know.
You must hear some incredible shouts, though, like, because if you look at where you're playing, you're right out there, close to the touchline. You must hear some crazy things coming through the crowd.
Yeah, especially if it's 0-0 and it's 15 minutes in and I just pass the ball backwards to Cam. I normally get a bit of stick. You know about that one as well, playing on the left side. Sometimes the center mids, they don't understand how insulated they are being in the middle of the pitch. We get a lot of it. So that's why I'm probably the happiest whenever we score an early goal, because it's just like, okay, man, everyone can pipe down a little bit. The positivity can come out. But yeah, we get some crazy shouts, home and away.
And by the way, I was only half joking earlier about the fact that, you know, you could probably come and host this pod, because you've teed me up beautifully for what was already coming next. It's as if there was a sixth sense, you know, you knew it was coming.
Dies him at the back post there, well done.
You're just lurking, you knew it was happening. You were mentioning there the sort of coming through the university or college route, which is something that when I was sort of prepping for this episode and for chatting to you guys, was something that kind of stuck out to me as...
Well, you're glad that James didn't come then.
I'm going to tell him you said that, if I'm being honest with you. The two of you guys have, you know, both been through that education system. It's something maybe that a lot of people potentially don't know about, and it's something maybe you wouldn't normally associate with a professional football. They'll have that sort of background. So Liam, I'll come to yourself sort of first, because you studied Irish and geography at University College Dublin. So what
I'm glad you made it in football. That degree's not going far, is it?
Come on.
What's the capital?
But to be fair, you must be quite handy at like a pub quiz or whatever if you've got the geography knowledge.
Yeah, I'm actually decent. I fancy myself. Whenever we sometimes for like bonding and that, we'll do like in pre-season, we'll do like a quiz, like a table quiz, and like whatever team I'm on, I fancy it.
So are you good at like?
We love like a question of the day as well, kind of within the building at Lennoxtown. You know, kind of get fired around, and you just don't want to be the worst answer. Yeah. And oftentimes, I'm not going to say who, but there's one man who is often the worst answer, and you're definitely not that.
No, come on, you've got to tell us who.
I can't, but I'm just going to say that there was supposed to be a third chair here, and
third
chair didn't show up. But to be fair, that man did pull the legend card, and he deserves it. He can pull the legend card whenever he wants, and he should pull it more often.
We might come to this guy who we're referencing later on in the pod. But here, I'm intrigued now. You've actually piqued my interest a little bit. So this question of the day that you would have up at the training centre, how does it work? It's just there and everybody writes down an answer, or everybody gives an answer?
So it's late. Late's the player liaison. He'll have it. We have it on the wall outside the change room. We have our the menu for the food for the day, and at the bottom there'll be a little trivia question, and so you see it going up for breakfast, and then the breakfast table. That's what people are discussing usually. But no, we be strong, me and Ali. To be fair,
James is very good at those though. When it comes to football knowledge and sometimes they'd be like, all right, who are the 6 players that have played for Chelsea and Celtic since 2000, and Jamesy would rattle them all off.
Yeah,
he's good at those ones. He's very good at the football ones. When
it's
it
about
comes
as far
to,
as that goes, though, I think.
Greg Taylor often brings in he's seen something on social media or whatever, 99% of the population get this wrong, and he'll ask a question, and then some things that you think are common knowledge are definitely not common knowledge. And it's always funny to see how guys think on our team.
I like that,
and worrying to see how some guys think.
But I mean, to be fair, I don't know what, for example, Ali, what your strong point will be, but if in a pub quiz team you want somebody who's strong in geography, because that's such a niche little sort of
you want the guy who's got the capital of Malta down on lock.
Yeah. What is the capital of Malta?
Couldn't tell you.
No,
I'm not even going to say. I don't know.
I think you could give.
Sorry, we can try and dub that over with the actual answer. It'll just be my voice. It'll stand
Geography
out.
isn't just capital cities, just to let you know.
There's
more to it than that.
I was going to say, this is just from 2 laymen here who don't really know what's what. But I mean, how did it come about? That sort of going into that world of education and studying. What were you thinking? Were you thinking in terms of a career in football, this was something you could turn to after that, or?
And how mad was your mum when she heard that was the major you were going to study?
She was all right. But to be fair, there was no pressure from parents in our family. We just were allowed to do what we want. But it was sort of an easy option for me. I was, I suppose, playing for University College Dublin under 19s, and I got offered a scholarship to go and play for their first team in the League of Ireland. We were in the first division at the time, but we went on to win the first division. So I won a League of Ireland first division with them. So from the age of 18 to 21, I went on a scholarship there to study. But my main focus was really the football. I left school, I went to an Irish-speaking secondary school, so I was quite good at that. And geography was my favourite subject. So I chose that as a joint honours degree because I felt like I could sort of go there and then get away with putting less effort into that than I could football, which it worked out in the end. It worked out in the end. I was thinking of going and studying architecture, but then someone told me you have to spend 50 hours a week in the studio, and I'm like, I'm not going to progress with football if I'm doing that. So, I mean, if football never worked out, I probably would have gone down the teaching route, because I have a lot of teachers in my family, and would have been the next step, I suppose. But I knew going there that if I put enough effort into football, I'd have a chance of moving on, which I did. I went to Shamrock Rovers from there, and then obviously on to here.
I mean, look at that. I mean, it's worked out all right for you ultimately, and because it's basically the marriage of the two things. Because of course now you're tearing it up at the top level. You're a champion in Scotland, and when it comes to the match day quiz or the everyday quiz, you're on it. You've got the answers. Ali, for yourself, what was your sort of journey through that education system like? Did it differ? Was there a different sort of mindset in terms of going into it in the first place?
Yeah, for me it was more like I'm going to go and get an education here. I always, growing up in Canada, the NCAA and the American kind of university sport route, it's massive. Just the product that they put on there between American football and basketball is always something that I'd watched on TV and wow, I'd love to go to one of these massive schools and kind of really live that. So I was lucky enough to get a scholarship. I did 4 years down at an American university, but for me it was more a real balance of academics and football. And for me it was look, if the football thing works, I'm going to put as much as I can to it, but if it doesn't work out, then I'm going to have an education to fall back on. And I think that it almost gave me a little bit of, it almost helped me a little bit at the beginning of my career, because didn't put too much pressure on myself that I need to make this work right now. It was more look, just give it your best shot, play free. And if it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I think that actually that mentality really helped me at the beginning. because, otherwise I would have probably put too much pressure on myself. And I can imagine it would be really difficult for some of the guys that have come to the academy here, and you're coming out at 17 and playing in front of 60,000 people and expected right from the jump to be, to show signs that you can be a top footballer. For me, it wasn't the case. I was still in university until 21 as well. So, it's a different path. But at the same time, I'm really happy that I can say that, 5 years after, or 4 years, I don't even know how many it is, 4 or 5 years after graduating, that, I've played in the Champions League, for example. It's a pretty cool pathway, something different and something that I wouldn't have changed.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting observation as well, that whole thing of it almost helped you in your football career. We'll have a lot of, people watching this or listening to this who will be students and who will be sort of trying to deal with the pressures of that side of life. From in your guys' experience, Liam, I'll maybe come to yourself. How does the pressure of being a student compare to the pressure of being a professional football player? I'm assuming they're two different types of pressure, but if you could just try and give us an idea of what it's like.
I think, like, this time of year, it's exam season now, isn't it? Like, this time of year, pressure of being a student is bad. Like, I hated it. I hated exams. I'd much rather go out and play in a bit high-pressure football game than go in and sit an exam, because, like, it's sort of naturally what you want to do. But, yeah, no, there is pressure, but I think it is important. I played with a lot of players in that UCD team that didn't go on to get professional contracts and now have really good careers in different things. So, like, I've played with physiotherapists, like people who are working in business, marketing, all sorts. So it was a great life experience as well. We were all living on campus together, and we used to a social life was brilliant. 3 years, the whole team was between the ages of 18 and 22. So everyone's just moved out of home, and it was amazing. But you do have pressure. There is pressure for students, but it is a different type of pressure. But I definitely would prefer to be feeling the pressure of football than the pressure of exams, 100%.
I'm wondering which social life is better: the social life of a football player who's just won the title, or the social life of a student living on campus with the rest of the teammates. I'll leave it up to you guys.
You can definitely get away with more nights out when you're playing for UCD than you are here. But no, it's obviously a higher level now, and that has to sort of take a back seat. But at that time, it was brilliant.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, we're talking about some of the folk who'll be listening and watching this episode, and in actual fact, for this episode, we've sort of turned to them a little bit to provide some questions that they want the answers to. So we'll just sort of run through some of them just now, because we've got some interesting ones there that are maybe a little bit different from some of the things that I've been asking you. So I'll start with yourself then, Alistair. Scott Robertson has asked, or has said, that the run towards the end of the season there, towards winning the league title, was incredible. So what was, in your opinion, what the sort of turning point, the point that incredible run started?
That's a good question. As crazy as this sounds, but honestly, hearts away when we actually lost 2-0 and we missed a pen early, and then literally 15 seconds later we got a man sent off that I thought was harsh. But even then, I thought that we showed in that game that we can still, like, there's levels to our game there, and we were playing even with 10 men. I thought we created chances, and we were honestly unlucky in some aspects not to get a goal. And of course, we lost that match, but I still think we came out of that with a good feeling of, you know what, like, we can do this. That team's third place in the league. We can take this to a whole nother level that any other team in this league can't take it to. And also, I just think that, there was some anger after the result with with some of the decisions and everything. And I think that really just brought everyone together and got everyone, really fired up and like, okay, you know what, everyone's out to get us. Let's all stick together and let's push through this. Let's get our heads down and go after this for the next couple of months. So for me, that was kind of one that was actually a big turning point. And of course, there was also a good team night out after that match that we still went for even after the result. So I think all of that together, I think it got a lot of steam out and got everyone refocusing and ready for that run-in. Yeah,
sort of galvanised the unit. It's an interesting one, that, and a good answer as well. This one comes in from Noah Dell 21, and Liam, I'll ask you, what was your favourite game throughout this season?
It's been a few.
The Champions League match.
I know. I was going to say, was it Feyenoord? Was it the Feyenoord 2-1?
Yeah, but I think for me it was the 1-0 win at Ibrox started the year, because we were like
decimated.
We had a lot of injuries. People were doubting us. People were scared going there with like, I suppose it was me and Gus playing centre half. I hadn't played many games.
That was my first game back from injury as well. I got chucked out there. Yeah,
like Gustav was just in the door, thrown into it, and we were just like, it was just like, Kyogo obviously got the brilliant goal, and then at times we were defending our box, and we just felt like we could be out here all week and they wouldn't have scored against us. And then the fact we had no fans in the stadium when we scored and the place went silent, it was like, it was unbelievable.
What's that like? What's that like when that ball hits it? Because what a finish! Obviously, he's caught it on the volley, bottom corner.
I literally hear Kyogo giggling almost. It was hilarious. It was so quiet.
Yeah,
it almost feels like you've done something wrong.
Yeah,
it's like
you're looking around.
We're good. Yeah, it's a funny feeling.
It was that was brilliant. And then obviously it was sort of kicked things off for me, because it was my second game, and it was like, it was either make or break. I suppose it was a big challenge, and we kept a clean sheet. We won the game. I think I was man of the match as well. So that was probably the best moment for me.
Yeah, good shout. And what a result as well.
Yeah.
We've had a good run against Rangers throughout the course of this
knock on wood, we keep it going.
Yeah, let's hope we continue on that run. Alistair, I'll come to you here, because of course, as we were talking about earlier, it's about a year and a half.
A year and a half now, yeah.
You've been here, which is, I mean, honestly, it does. I don't know about you. I just feel like.
Oh, I've aged. Yeah, trust me. Yeah, I'm an old man now.
Welcome to Glasgow.
Yeah.
Well done. Well,
ask you. Winner will do that. Won't it?
Absolutely. What's been the best moment throughout your time at Celtic so far, from through the course of the last 18 months or so?
That's tough. There's been so many good moments. I think when we lifted the treble, and celebrating that whole day with all 3 trophies, it was pretty special. And you realize then had it emblazoned on the shirt. That's the 8th one ever. And you realize, wow, this is a special club that's been around. It's 1888. There's been a lot of special players, a lot of special teams, and still this is only the 8th treble, the entire history. 8 is still a lot, but at the same time, it was like, wow, we've done one of those. Like, I'm a part of that. So that was pretty cool to even say that I played a small part of that. And then this year, of course, playing, I think, in just the Champions League matches was special. You hear so often about the noise when the anthem comes on, but you don't really understand it till you're out there. And there's just something about a midweek game under the lights, and you hear that anthem. Oh, the noise. It sounds like animalistic, the noise. I don't even understand how our fans are able to make that noise, but it's just... It reverberates. You can't help but get goosebumps. So experiencing those was really special. I mean, there's so many matches to pick. And then again, obviously lifting another league. But those would kind of be the main ones so far that stand out.
Must be incredible just listening, because I mean, obviously being there and amongst that noise, it sounds amazing. But you're on the receiving end of it. You know, you're on the receiving end of that wall of noise. It must be like a sort of physical feeling as well as.
Oh yeah, it's one
stinging eardrums.
Yeah, you're not going to sleep. You understand that following night you're not sleeping. The adrenaline is just coursing through your veins the entire night, and even the night before. You're so excited for it. But yeah, again, those are the kind of games, those are the kind of matches that. This is why you're a pro footballer. This is the kind of matches. And of course,
won the league, so we've got more of that to look forward to next season.
Exactly.
Superb. Liam, this I've got to say, it's a cracking username. The username is Maeda Meal of that. Like, made a meal of that. Very good. And very aptly, this person's asked, what's your favourite food to eat when you're celebrating a big win? I don't know why they have to specify being after a big win. It could be whenever. What's your favourite food?
Right, so if I'm like want to treat myself, it's like an Irish Chinese dish. It's called a spice bag. I've just seen that there's a place in Ashton Lane that are doing them now.
They chuck it in the bag and they shake it all up.
So basically, it's salt and pepper. Or salt and chili chicken, veg, and chips in a chippy bag, sort of, and they shake it all up, and it's just like it's unbelievable. But it needs to be introduced.
Our cameraman's just written that down there because that sounds like something that'd be right up his street. I've got to tell you.
Oh, 100%. Like it's like just salt and pepper, chicken and chips, with like sort of a bit of veg in there, like onions, peppers. But it's like. It's filthy, like, and you get curry sauce. You get curry sauce all over or whatever, and it's dirty. Like, it wouldn't be one to be having very often, but when you want to treat, that's good. But I haven't had one since being over here. That's more when I go home on the way back from the airport. First thing
I find out if anyone actually does. Did you say
so? There's a place, I can't remember the name, but I've seen something. The place in the West End is starting to do them, but I'll have to try it out because it might not be the same.
A spice bag, it's called
spice bag.
I was going to say we'll put out a post. Anybody recommend it to get a good bag? But I don't know where we're going.
100%.
You have to beep that out. That sounds like bag, doesn't it?
The Irish fans will agree with me. They'll know what I'm talking about.
I'm not gonna lie, the first time I thought you said you eat a bag. That's genius.
I'll be 3 beeps. Well, it's alright. It's fine.
Yeah,
there you go.
What about a fresh caught fish though? I mean, this man is.
Oh yeah.
He's a man of the lakes.
See, right, I'd heard this. I wasn't going to bring it up in case like it was, hobbies or kind of private things, but you like to go out fishing, is that right?
Yeah, I do. I don't know where you heard that from. I can't believe that's.
How's that permeating? But that might be in the.
It's
Celtic view, isn't it?
What it is like I just go out usually on my own. I love it, like because you just take yourself completely away from football. And yeah, I've started fly fishing now, and I caught my first brown trout there yesterday. So
I showed me a picture of it. It looked like it was this big in the photo.
Really? I mean, but it's kind of daunting. I don't know, like the whole idea of. I mean, I'm assuming there's a kind of therapeutic side to it of just being there and kind of in the. But I mean, I think my bottle would crash if an actual fish got in the boat.
Oh, you get used to it. You get used to it. I'm not in, but I'm just down rivers and that. I'm not. I've got the waders.
You got the waders on.
Knee deep in the river. Yeah.
Oh, you get the nice.
So
I had a vision of you in the
out on the sea. No, not for me. I do a bit of like coastal fishing sometimes in the summers, but this is it's a new hobby, fly fishing, and to be fair, I'm hooked. Like it's excuse the pun.
There it is.
That's the headline.
But no,
Liam Scales is hooked on fishing. We love it. A nice one.
Bags.
4 beeps. Sorry, every time we do it, it's another 5 minutes on to what I need to do to edit this podcast together. There's another food-related question here. Oh boy. It's not related to any spice bags or beep bags. Alistair, what's your favourite place to eat in Glasgow? And that's coming from Charlie Boy.
Favourite place to eat?
And by the way, you don't have to be specific or whatever. I mean, what type of restaurant even?
It's just a great question. I'm kind of all over the shop. Like I don't mind mixing about and trying out different things, but I haven't had a spice bag yet, but I might need to go find a place that hands out spice bags. But I like a good Thai, something spicy. I'm all for the hotter the better. But yeah, I don't really have a specific restaurant yet. There's actually quite a few though, and all the lads do a really good job of passing those along and not gatekeeping them, which is nice. What would be your favorite? I'm trying to think in Glasgow.
You just don't want to upset the owners, do you?
I don't.
They're giving you freebies. And
I'm not going to pick a favorite here. Forget someone. Exactly that. Love them all.
Do you have any, this is from Rio Rogers, Liam, do you have any match day superstitions or any superstitions at all?
Actually, it's a funny one. My brother was at the game and he got on the pitch obviously after to celebrate, and I was there taking my shin guards off, and he's like, "You've been wearing them shin guards about 10 years." So I think that they're like lucky, like shinnies.
Staph infection.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're a bit like old now, but I think it's something that I don't want to change because I've had them so long now since I was like younger. So it's like that's a funny that you mentioned that because he said that to me and I was like, yeah, well, I'd feel weird if I wore anything else.
Yeah. So, what about yourself? Have you?
Now that you say it, I'm the exact same.
Yeah.
Like it's something that I don't think really any footballer ever changes. You only really change it if you lose them, I think.
Yeah,
like I can't imagine. I've got old J-Guard ones, and I've taken the padding off of them, so it's literally just the plastic shell, and I just wear that right on my shin. Yeah. Like a lot of guys.
Rubbing against you, that must be.
Well, the thing is like guards are just they're more annoying than beneficial.
Yeah,
a lot of people would say that.
Yeah.
We'd like to get into tackles, and honestly, I'd rather not wear them. Because I mean, what contact are you actually normally doing up on your shin?
The smaller the better, isn't it? The smaller and the lighter the better because you feel them less. And
you don't want the big bulky ones.
But they feel like they're getting like so small. I mean, maybe that's just my looking at it, right? But they feel like they're getting like almost the size of like a credit card.
A lot of guys are wearing homemade shin pads, which is pretty much just like a piece of little foam and just like a little cutout thing and sticking that on there. And the ref goes, I guess it's good, but. Yeah, it's just more for show at this point.
We've went down a kind of side street here, but this is interesting, right? Because these are the things that I don't know. People might be
left boot before right boot as well.
Yeah, right, there you go. Right, so you put on the left boot first.
I'm trainers as well. It's seeped into other parts of my life. It's a bit scary now.
Wow. So is that just something you've always done? When did you become aware of the fact that that's what you were doing?
Right at the beginning of my professional career, I think I did it once and I played well, and then I got into a routine. And once you get into a routine, it's the worst because. We're silly individuals where we think, oh, if I put my right boot on first, so then that could be the reason why I score an own goal. It's like, no, that's not going to be the reason. But deep down, subconsciously, you're like, well, I messed up. Anything can happen now. So again, you just kind of stick to that now.
If you ask Greg Taylor that question, he'd have you here all night listing out his like 2 days
He's
leading
lost
up
the
to a
plot.
game.
Really,
He's
huh?
lost the plot.
Up to kick off. Yeah,
the wee man
he's-
syndrome. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's-
There was
he's-
usually just before we go into the change room before kick-off, we do a bit of quick feet, and it'll be him leading one of the lines. There's 2 lines, and JC started it without him, and he was fuming it because it completely threw off his whole pre-match routine.
Oh, if you go in front of him in that line, he will
gas.
lose his. There's a couple things. He's
Wow. I'm
He's
going to be
a
looking
character.
out for that now, to be
Yeah.
fair, on match days. That's quite interesting.
he's a character.
How, like, this isn't even a question, that was just in my mind there when you were talking about this. How often do players change boots? You know, like, obviously for different surfaces, you might have different types of boots, whatever, but like, if you got like a pair of boots that you wear more than others, that you train in, like, how often do you go through
You're all
different
over
pairs
the
of football
shop as
boots?
well. You're a big boot collector in a way.
Yeah, I was wearing like old school Nike boots for the first half of the season, and they're hard to get because they're like 10 years old, the Magistas. So I got sent a few pairs of new Predators, and they look good. So I was like, right, I'll try them. They'll be easier to get. I suppose it's the ones you wear. I wear studs in games. I never wear like molds just in case you slip or whatever. It's like you can't have that excuse, you know. So probably every 8 to 10 weeks, I suppose. You probably go through 4 pairs a season, on average. But then, like, if you really want, you can wear them until they're about to break, and
Yeah.
it's, I suppose. It all
Yeah,
depends.
I'd like to get 8 to 10 weeks out of them, but at the same time, it's like, you play a match at Killy, and all of a sudden they're ripping at the seams, and it was crazy because like I grew up playing on Astro all the time, and my boots would last longer than what they do now. So I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, it's quite a bit, to be honest.
Listen, we've got a couple more questions coming in from our listeners and viewers. And this is a good one here from Patrick Taylor. What did you think of the way that the women's team wrapped up their first title, which of course they clinched on Sunday afternoon just out here at Celtic Park, a 90th minute goal from Amy Gallagher.
We were just talking about that, actually.
Yeah, because the jerseys are up in the reception,
Right, yeah.
in the little glass frame, and I said, I switched it on, and it was getting nervy, like you could tell there was nerves in the place. It was a good crowd. It looked good, but it was great feat and a great finish, and in that, it's the best way to do it, isn't it? Because obviously, the trophy could have been going to the other side of the city, and then it's taking a detour back to Celtic Park because of the last. It's the best way to win something like that is with a last minute goal. So fair play to them, it's brilliant.
And it's a real sort of moment in history as well, because we've been talking about this sort of through the week on other podcast episodes as well, that it's a historic moment in the fact that it's the first time in the history of Scottish football that the men's title and the women's title have been held by the same club. So in a way, the men's first team, you guys, and the women's first team have contributed to a real piece of history in the football club, which is something, I guess, it makes it even just that little bit more special again.
No, that's it's amazing. It's great. We're super happy for them, obviously, and it's cool that they got to do it here at Celtic Park as well. I think that made that extra special for them. And I saw some of the videos as well after all the celebrations, and it looked like they were just buzzing, and the fans were buzzing. And again, that's what this club's all about is lifting trophies. So that's pretty cool to be first time in Scottish history. First time that's pretty cool to be making history like that. And again, long may it continue.
Absolutely. The last two are from the same. These are important questions. These two. These are really important, right? This is from Dougie Boy, and first question is from Dougie Boy. Will you both be supporting Scotland in the Euros this summer?
Yeah, I will, 100%. So I've got teammates playing for Scotland. Obviously, hopefully as many of them go that deserve to go. You know, the lads have been brilliant, the Scottish boys for us. So like obviously Carl's going to play there, and Tony's looking likely to play. Like he's looking like he's obviously not had as many caps as he probably deserves, but with a couple of injuries, Tony's looking like to play, and that's brilliant for him. Greg as well. 100%. They'll be my team.
Jamesy on the plane?
Yeah.
On the plane?
Honestly, that's what we think, because he's been absolutely brilliant the last couple of months. But
so good.
Lock it in. Jamesy is on the plane.
Is that the prediction? You saying?
I'm gonna lock that in.
I'm with
Jamesy's
you.
on the
Sure.
plane.
yeah, but he's an unbelievable player, and he deserves it. But I've no one else. Obviously, we didn't get there. We had a tough group, and we just weren't. I suppose we didn't get the results. But obviously, you have Scottish teammates. So they'll be my team for the tournament.
No, good one. I mean, they're going to be playing at some unbelievable stadiums as well. They're kicking it off. I mean, what a way to start the tournament as well. The Scotland team.
Hosts Germany.
They're playing against the hosts, and I think the opening game's at the Allianz, which is just what an arena. And of course, when they ultimately make the final as well, it's in the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, which is also quite a fantastic arena. But the big question here from Dougie Boy, and this is the one that I think anybody will want to know the answer to. Who would win out of you two in a rock, paper, scissors battle? There's only one way to find out. Let's do it. You need to do it.
Rock, paper, show, yeah.
Show?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, whatever.
You say show?
Yeah, rock, paper, show,
Is
whatever.
that normal? Show?
No,
Never
what
heard
would
show
you do?
before.
Rock, paper.
I've either gone rock, paper, scissors or rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah, but that's
But
what
I've never.
yeah.
I'm just saying your
No,
word
that's
choice.
it. I like that.
Yeah, it's a rock.
Aye,
Yeah.
aye.
Right, so we just go on
Shoot.
scissors.
I'm going to have to, for the audio, I'm going to have to commentate on each of these here. So we'll do
Best
best of three.
Best of three. Okay.
Right,
So you're
you
going
ready?
scissors.
Paper, bang. Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, here we go.
Rock, paper, scissors. 1-0.
1-0 to Alistair Johnston.
Rock, paper, scissors. 2-0.
2-0, and that's it. It's as simple as
Hey.
that.
Whitewash,
But some
Jesus.
gentlemanly conduct at the end there, the handshake, brilliant. Well, listen, that's it. That's the questions that our listeners and viewers wanted answered, which was I think you done well there, especially with that last one. Nice bit of competitiveness. But before we go any further, and we'll just sort of round up our episode here, because I do appreciate you guys coming. I know it's a busy week for you. We've obviously got the cup final coming up at the weekend as well, which we'll speak a wee bit about. But just overall, then Alice, I'll start with yourself. Talk to me about that feeling of winning the title, clinching the title again with this football club. Just how good does it feel to be a champion of Scotland?
It's exactly that. Being the champion of Scotland, you want to be the champion. It's the feeling that you're aiming for. It's exactly what you come to this club for. Again, is to lift titles. And I think it was really cool when we were at Kilmarnock there, and we won it. And you could just see the away end, how just mental they were. Again, we could have stayed out there for 5 hours. It could have been to the middle of the night.
Yeah, but we had to get the Wonder Bar. So.
We did have to get the Wonder Bar, didn't we? We had to get a little loose there. But then you could just see they would have stayed there all night. And then even then, we come back to Celtic Park that night, and it's a Wednesday night, and it's like midnight, and we got thousands of fans out front of Celtic Park. It's just like, it's a madness like that. And when you really really helps put things into perspective, how much this club means to people. So it's like the least we can do is go out there and just win titles, for crying out loud. So I was happy that we could, meet the standards that are required here. So again, really special. That's another trophy to this cabinet here at Celtic Park, and hopefully we can add another one this coming week.
Absolutely, it'd be wonderful. And like you say, what a fantastic way to win it as well. Absolutely. Blowing Kilmarnock out the park. You mentioned having to sort of get away, getting to Wonder Bar, which was just I was about to ask you. What were the celebrations like on Wednesday night after the deal was done and the title was won?
Yeah, it was great. We went out as a team. We had a few drinks and we enjoyed ourselves. We were sensible enough. I think there's no one made it into the papers the next morning. So that's I don't know.
I'm not sure it's the papers anymore, but I think they made it into something.
I suppose, yeah. I did see a few videos on Twitter circulating of people shouting into microphones and that. But
big CCV can't help himself, can he?
No, but it was a good night. We went out as a team, and that's going to happen when you win a title. People are going to let the hair down and go for it, and a few people did. You've got
to love the bouncer or whoever it was trying to get CCV down off of the
That's
stool.
an immovable object.
I know.
There's not even fallen from there though. It would have been an earthquake or something. Big man.
Another sort of good pro in the team, and I guess another guy who will be enjoying these title celebrations, of course, Joe Hart, who got an unbelievable reception here at the weekend. You heard the sort of his name being sung around the stadium throughout the match. The banner displaying Super Drop was unbelievable. Incredible. So I mean, just what's he? I know he's retiring at the end of the week. After the Scottish Cup final. You both playing in defence. You're both, I'm assuming, that close to him as a unit. What's he been like to share a dressing room with?
Every story you've heard about him, everything is just so positive, and he deserves it all because he really is just that good of a guy. Again, he's one of those ones that he could have came up here with his resume and all the things that he's done, everything that he's accomplished and won, and mailed it in. But he came in here and he bought right in, and he's laid it all out there every single match. And I think, again, the fans really buy into that, and they've seen that from him. And then, again, as us as defenders, he gives us such confidence behind us, just because, again, he's one of those guys has been there, he's done that. He's going to leave it all out there for you. And he's someone that, I think we're both just been super lucky to have called a teammate. And he's one of those ones that, again, whenever you're in the future and you have children and grandchildren, he'll be one of the teammates. You're like, I did play with Joe Hart, and I think that'll be a pretty cool thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, Liam, of course, we spoke about the fact that you've stepped up this season, done incredibly well. You're a league winner. You're a winner with this football club. But how important has Joe been in terms of being a sort of that last line of defence and being a sort of, I guess, giving a bit of guidance to you and advice when he needs to?
Yeah, he's got so much experience, and that you wouldn't want anyone else behind you. It's been an absolute pleasure playing with him, and he's sort of pulled me at different times in the season when we've been winning games, doing well, and he's pulled me and said, "You're part of this now. You're this standard. This is you." And then to win it when we beat Rangers here, he grabbed me and is like, "I told you halfway through the season, like this is you. This is where you are. This is where you have to be." And look, he's as delighted for me as I am for myself, to be a part of it. And that you really feel that off him. He's just a genuine, proper man. He's one of the best, and he'll be missed. But look, we need to make sure he goes out on a high.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you touch on that there. You've got the Scottish Cup final at the weekend. What's the mood in the camp as we approach that cup final?
Excitement for sure. It's another opportunity to go out there and lift the trophy. We've done the hard work to get to it, and now it's about going out there and enjoying and just playing our football. We've already had our first session of this week, and the gaffer made it very clear, look, the mood's going to be calm, relaxed, but business-like as usual. It's going to be the same as every other week. So that's what we're kind of just leaning into this, is that, look, it's another great opportunity for us to go out there and make a good season great. So I think, again, it's something that we're all extremely excited for. It's a great opportunity. Playing at Hampden, it's always special as well. It'll be a lively crowd, and we're looking forward to going out there and putting on a show.
No, it certainly will be. It'll be an electric atmosphere. You can absolutely guarantee that from the Celtic support. And just on that Celtic support then, Liam, the final word, I guess I'll come to yourself. Have you got a final sort of message for this support after what's been so far a crazy season, which has ended in the way that it so often does, which is with Celtic as the champions?
Yeah, I just want to thank them, I suppose, for all the amazing support all year. It's just been surreal. It's been a great experience, the support I've received personally and the support we've received as a team. Even when things weren't really going our way, you could feel a bit of nervousness about the place, but I feel like they stuck by us. The away support, travelling to away games and in the middle of winter and filling stadiums, it's just, you wouldn't get it anywhere else. So I just want to say thank you, and just make sure you're there on the weekend to really push us on and finish the season off, because they play a big part in what we do, and again, there's no fans like them. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much. And listen, I really appreciate both of you guys coming in and giving us your time and some really good answers, ranging from spice bags to fishing to retro boots. Thank you very much for joining us once again on the official Celtic FC podcast. I'm delighted that we had Alistair Johnston and Liam Scales with us today as we celebrate another season where Celtic are the champions of Scotland. Make sure you like, follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you very much, and hail hail.